Hello, my name is Alamuga Mazino, and this is a video presentation on my final year project in exploring embedded device software development. I present to you the Quadro drone. Now let's take a look at the components of the Quadro drone. A drone is no different than any hobbyist quadcopter of the market that is as a toy or for recreational use. The only difference is that this has a computer in between the inputs from the receiver and the outputs to the motors on the quadcopter. The Quadro drone is comprised of two major modules. Firstly, the Arduino module. This is responsible for receiving signals from the radio, processing the signal based on information from the accelerometer and GPS, and finally, outputting the refined signals to the motors. Secondly, the power control board. This is responsible for directing power from the battery to all the electric components on the drone. It is also responsible for the direction of signals from the Arduino to the motors. The Arduino has a resistor at its connection which converts the voltage from 12 volts to 5 volts, which it then uses to power itself as well as power the auxiliary devices attached to it. The Arduino has 12 major pins, 4 of which are used for signal output to the motors and the other 8 used for input from the wireless receiver. The Arduino has slots for auxiliary devices. These devices are the wireless telemetry dongle, which allows to communicate wirelessly with a ground station, and the GPS. The whole setup is powered by a 12 volt 3-cell 4000 mAh battery, which gives it roughly 25 minutes of flight time. The most important feature of the hardware design is that it is fully modular. The wires connecting different modules, rather than being soldered directly together, are soldered to the connectors or pins, as which they can be easily plugged in and out. As such, should a component get damaged, it can simply be replaced in a plug-and-play fashion. This is done for the wireless transmitter, the telemetry dongle, and even for the motors and electric speed controllers. It's all a pull away. Here we showcase its ability to balance itself. The drone is put on its side and turned on. It immediately senses it is in the wrong position and corrects its orientation. You can hear the motor spin up to counteract the external force from my hand. It is also capable of sending flight information to a ground station. As you can see on the screen, it sends information about its orientation wirelessly using the telemetry module. This information is displayed on the ground station software on the screen behind me. It also tracks specific values displayed in the readout below the orientation display. In the readout, the yaw value changes as it is turned. It also tracks its vertical speed and altitude, both of which rise and drop as I lift and drop the drone respectively. Now on to the field. There are many checks that should be performed before flight. However, this video only showcases one, which is the voltage check. The drone requires 12 volts to be powered. However, it's always good to be slightly overcharged as the voltage will drop when under load. 12.5 volts is perfect. With waypoints loaded, a signal is sent from the radio to the drone to commence autonomous flight.
2, 3, 4, 17.
Hello, Your Eminence.
Hello, Your Effluence. I predicted that you'd call right on the stroke of 17. And you know how I made that work?
No.
I counted 1, 2, and then when I saw you were calling me, I could see it visually before I heard it. I said 17, so it makes me look smart. And the only reason I try to look smart, because all of us are smart, and some of us are smarter about something, but can you imagine what my sister and Eric Holder and Barry Swatero and Hillary Clinton and John McCain are doing right now?
I think they're buying nachos to watch the attack on Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be no, thanks, Agent 66. There will be no attack on the Super Bowl because we got them over a barrel. And you want me to explain how? So I know you know how we got them over a barrel, but if you'll just tolerate me for another 30 seconds. On the 26th of January, we predicted a threat. Well, we acknowledged a threat against the Super Bowl. It's not the first time. It's not the first time there's been a threat against the Super Bowl. It's also not the first time we've acknowledged a threat. And we always acknowledge them real close up to the time, so it scares the whatever out of these people because they understand that if they let it go through, they've already been fingered and identified. And if they stop it, then that sort of brings power to the name of Abel Danger. And David, I think you know this, but some of our listeners don't. Do you know that 3 days after I posted a threat window, a YouTube was made declaring Super Bowl 49 a no drone zone?
I didn't realize the timing, but yeah, I've seen that they've got this. I don't know. I'm almost speechless at how stupid the FAA administration thinks the American public is. Over to you.
Well, I'm going to turn it back over to you in a minute. I'm going to go to email if it doesn't clog up my computer. And I will post the letter that I sent along with the, well, I sent it probably at 12:30 Central, 12:20 Central. I sent it from home just before I came down here. And I think it would be really encouraging to most of our listeners, the ones that are here. Yeah, there you go, Swamp, for Over the Barrel. By the way, I saw a picture of Swamp and her sister and her niece. And I've had this picture of Swamp as being some backwoods lady who probably wears overalls and carries an axe around. Boy, was I wrong. Over to you, David, while I go get that email.
Okay, well, today's post, I hope, and I got it resonating off your mound fairly recently, so if there was an error in transmission, I apologize. But today's post is meant to bring people's attention to the conspiracy that was developed with a Canadian company prior to the attack on 911, apparently with traitors in the United States Air Force and Serco and an outfit called McDonald Detweiler and Associates of Richmond, British Columbia, which I know.
Oh, whoa, okay. It looks like, according to the brackets, we aren't seeing a semifinals match between the two. What?
Yoga and Google Focus started their Ravaged game, so...
I don't see any record on it, but I think Drone forfeited.
Yeah, I think these connection issues, I wouldn't be surprised, but Google and Yoga are starting the game now, so...
They are indeed.
Be good.
So let's go back... Oops. Go back properly to Ravaged, which... Google Frog going for Cloakybot Factory, and Yurga going for Cloakybot Factory.
Yeah, I think even with the Rocco nerf, I think people may be going for something a little more traditional. You know, they're try-harding. It's a familiar matchup. I'd really like to have seen like proper Rocco play. I'd really like to have God not to have switched out into rapiers in that match. But
I can't blame that. I really can't blame Gold for doing that.
I think it's a strategically good choice, and often after the Raider game ends, you can afford a fact switch. So actually, like, often you can pick a factory just for its Raider.
That's an interesting point, which kind of means go for Cloaky most of the time, or Shield. Shield has
I mean that is one of the reasons. That's why they're one of the reasons why they're such a popular factory. Really, is because they have some weaknesses. Later game, I mean,
later game primarily,
other than Rocco, mid game. after the Raider phase. Yeah,
Well,
but
they have
a really strong Raider game.
Once you have to deal with lots of defenses and lots of units, they have at best moderately strong units for defense busting.
Zeus is a strong unit. I mean, it's accurate and everything, but it's slow and it's not specialized. It's not very specialized in assault. I mean, because it has an accurate weapon. Very few Cloakybot units are specialized, except for the units that actually cloak. So yeah, I think that an interesting micro here with the retreating the damaged units. 9 hit points on that glaive.
Nicely done. Okay, so Yurga's on the ball.
Both getting out alive.
Yep, but they are both aware of each other's factory. That is the key thing to know. And actually, Google Frog they are positioning their glaives pretty nicely. As Yurga moves in, Yurga was about to move into those glaives head on as straight line. And that would have been terrible for Yurga.
You can see Google is sending a glaive around the back to try and kill any expansion. He might catch this LRT, but no. It's seen on radar, so...
yeah, they got everything. Yurga's well aware of what's going on.
Google's done what I like to do on this map, though.
There's 2
Google's
glaives.
moved into the middle of the... Yeah, he's maybe trying to catch the other constructor, which can be hard to do because they're cloaked. It's one of the things about this. You pick it for the constructor in this matchup. You pick up the construction for the constructor in the raider, and Cloakbot Factory has one of the best constructors and raiders. So, but Google's Frog's done one of the best things I like to do in this map, which is move to the middle of the map. You often want to move your commander to the middle of the map, put defenses there, and then expand with the constructor behind it.
Yes.
Because anything coming through that route, even if you just base your units around it, as you're doing now, and defend with units, your defense is to to move back into, you have your commander to intercept, and you can expand with a constructor to that point behind, and you don't go immediately for the low land, you go for the middle instead, which can give you a much stronger position.
Well, that's actually something that I haven't seen a whole lot of done in games recently, is going for that.
I like to do it.
That frontline defense and then expand behind it. That's something that, like, claiming the territory aggressively like that, that was the thing that made me think that 0K reminded me a bit like Go, the board game. And I haven't seen it much recently, so I was feeling a little bit unsure of what to think anymore. Like, well, is it like Go anymore? Because it's not being played like it. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, taking the territory in small bursts and then consolidating it afterwards.
This is why I play Battle Commander.
So you don't have to worry about territory. Oh, you can take the territory, yeah.
I can use my commander to aggressively walk into the middle, but you can see Google's playing strike.
Yeah,
for that
that's
same
close
reason.
enough.
While Yurga, who's still in space, is using support, so you can see that coming out. Raiders around the back, though.
Yeah, Yurga's taking that very strongly, and at the same time, I mean, Google Frog actually hasn't had much of a chance to expand all that much. Yurga's taking the center as well. Yurga has, while not an army advantage, seems to have a better position right now for their army. Google Frog scouting around, trying to make sure Yurga can't expand too much, but Yurga did a lot more damage to the back than Google Frog did. And while Google Frog has the center, Yurga has a better defended center.
Yeah, expanding behind a well-defended position can mean that a sneaky attack can obviously take out your expanding constructor. The constructor's still there, though, which is good. He's building a defender,
So
and
are
he's
the
going to be able
glaives.
to do it, to rebuild it, yeah.
The
You can
glaives
see
are
that
also there.
Google Frog has a riot cannon. He's actually put a riot cannon on, so he's really going to use this aggressively as a part of the Raider game to get an advantage. And we see some glaive micro in the middle of the map.
Oh, but at this point, Yurga actually has seen that coming, has already switched over to Rocco's.
Look at this micro. Shame about the LLT.
Ooh.
That was perfect micro. It was 5 on 4. Oh, he's trying to come in from the other side, but
That's a
I
really
think
questionable flank.
Yeah, no, that was really
Not
bad.
against
It was-
LLTs.
Oh, wait, he's moving his commander and he's going to try and... Because he needs to consolidate this territory with his commander. Otherwise, it would have been a huge loss for him. But yeah, he swung it back around with the commander push.
Yeah, that works.
But it was actually 5
Still.
versus 4. He took out one glaive, he retreated his own. He took out another glaive, retreated his own, and he had 4 versus 3 then. And it was just a beautiful example of
Nice.
glaive micro. But then he
I saw a
stumbled
bit
into
of
the
it.
LLT.
Yeah, and also,
Yeah, it's a
not
bit of a
just
shame.
stumbled the LLT, stumbled the glaives as a smaller group into a slightly more spread out group of glaives, and lost a few of them that
And
way.
then reinforced them with another group of glaives in the rear, which just walked into the LLT.